Hi, it's Maria, and I'm doing another Maria Unfiltered, and this is in the Forgiveness to Love series. And we're at number 11 already. Oh my gosh, things have gone so quickly. And so today I wanted to talk about if many of you understand that we truly are living in the darkest of times and we're being asked to choose. It's a test for our soul. And the question is really, how long are so many of us going to stay in the dark? As seen by my family's behavior, which I have spent a long time telling you about to illustrate the darkness that has enshrouded me, and that your own family and coworkers and loves and all the people in your life have enshrouded you as well. And so it's a test. It's a test for our soul. How are we going to move forward in this life? And so the good news is that as the dark attempts to destroy us, basically they destroy themselves more because they self-destruct. You can't destroy others. We talked about karma, and sometimes I feel like I'm just walking karma. Because when people mistreat me, ultimately the karma, they send out such bad energy that that energy boomerangs back to them, and so then they start experiencing really horrific events in their own life. And so no one wishes that on anyone, right? I mean, other than the dark, who that is their role in this lifetime, is to create pain and misery for others. But no one wishes that on anyone. It's just the way it is. It's a universal law. And so what we do send out boomerangs back. And so we can choose to wallow in the darkness, or better yet, we can choose to be in the light and be led by our conscience. And as humanity moves forward, which it most certainly is now, regardless of how it looks, And I've shared a few key points, but for those that still don't understand, this is how it might look. And I'm going to just, you might think, oh, this is a little funny, but it's true. When some look at my life, they think, oh my God, I'm going to give you three different perspectives of how someone might view my life, Maria's life. So the first one is they might think, oh my God, this is horrible, terrible, it's shocking, it's so sad and sorrowful and tragic, and that woman lost everything. And so that's number one. And yeah, several people have that perspective. Several people have actually told me that. And so the second perspective is, oh, she's such a rich bitch, lived in a mansion and had drivers and flew to New York to cut her hair and flew to Paris to go shopping, and the world was her oyster and she had it all. And then she decided to get a divorce, and oh well, she just got what she deserved. Right? Okay, well, that's the second perspective. And then the third perspective is, oh my God, the rumors and the gossip. Have you heard like what they're saying about her and what she's done? And I heard she's rotten and she's a liar and a cheater and she's lost everything, including her toothbrush and divorce. And she's an embarrassment to her family. And she was written out of her parents' will because nobody liked her and no one talks to her. And, she lost her kids in the divorce, and she lost her money, and now she's broke, and she lies, and she's delusional, and the ex sued her and won and cleaned her out. And, she was homeless like the weirdos out there that live in their cars, and she's just ruined, and she'll never climb out of that hole. Okay, so that's the third description of what somebody might think when they look at my life. And yet, you will see that you will hear the truth, and you will see how no matter how others try to want you to perceive your life, you are in charge of your life. You are here as a soul to experience the gamut of emotions. And so, however other people may project their own issues onto you, and that's what they believe about you, you know the truth. And so you are not going to be manipulated by outside distractions, because that's exactly what it is. They don't want you to love yourself and to forgive yourself for, look, we've all done things that we wish we wouldn't have done. I certainly wish I hadn't stayed as long as I stayed in a dysfunctional marriage, because the longer I stayed, the more entrenched I became. And then the more hideous the battle ultimately when I did finally get the courage to leave. And so they do say, cut your losses, leave as soon as you can, leave as soon as you know that that's the right thing. Why stay and sacrifice yourself? And so that's what many of us have done, male and female alike, whether it's with a job, whether it's in a relationship, or whatever. And so I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. And when we talk about bad press, well, Carl Bernstein of the Watergate fame, and I think I've said this quote in another video somewhere, but he said, the lowest form of popular culture is the lack of information, misinformation, and disinformation. So, and a contempt for the truth or the reality of most people's lives, because most people don't know the reality of their life, really. And people don't want to know the truth of others' lives, because the rest of his quote is, and a contempt for the truth or the reality of most people's lives, right? Because they want to hear the smut. They want to hear the bad press, right? And it says it's overrun real journalism. And today, ordinary Americans are being stuffed with garbage. And that's true. All you have to do is turn on the news. And what we're hearing is the worst of humanity. We're hearing about violence and thieving and all the emotions that are very negative and that lower our vibration. And what we want to do is we're here to raise our vibration. We're here to overcome the challenges that are ever present on planet Earth. And so as we gain our strength and as we gain the knowing of who we truly are on a soul level, then nothing can bring us down, right? Because we know that we are eternal beings, and eternal beings never die. We just change our clothing like we do. And speaking of clothing, I did want to mention this. I know that I have worn, I know you think I have no clothes, and truly, I don't have many. They're all sitting in my siblings' closet, perhaps. But anyway, they're not sitting in my closet. But nonetheless, I try to wear, every time I want to make a video, I do put on this same top and I put on this same necklace, because in case you want to find other forgiveness to love videos, you're not looking through 100 videos that I've made trying to find which ones go to that particular series, because I'm not all that versed in the computer, so I'm not sure exactly how well they are segregated into different into different series. And so anyway, I thought, so this is, anytime you want to find a forgiveness to love video, just look for a black top with a turquoise necklace. And so then you'll say, and then it'll say part 1, part 2. I think this is part 11. And so we may go for a few more as well. But so that's about the clothing. And so, as on a soul level, we are eternal. And so we are here on planet Earth to expand our soul and to experience the gamut of emotions and to experience challenges and blessings depending on our karma. And as I said, I should explain when I said I feel like I'm walking karma, because when it appears to me, this is from my perspective, when I am in contact or in the presence of other people, sometimes they act, very negatively. And then they send out a lot of negative karma. And then that karma boomerangs back to them. other times when people are very positive and send out really good energy, that energy, that those blessings come to them. And so it's not just me. It's just that I notice this in the people in my life. And so that's why I think I'm just we're all walking karma to others, because how they treat us is how they will be treated, you know? And we would like them all to treat us very kindly and be respectful and loyal and have and embody all the positive qualities, right? Of empathy and compassion and fun and laughter and benevolence and all of kindness and just love. And so when they embody those, then they send them up to us, and then they get that back, right? So anyway, we're here to really ignore the worldly distractions because we're here to grow. This is why we're here. We're not here to deal with other people. We're here to deal with our relationship to them. And so the kinder we can be to others, the kinder they are to us. And that benefits everyone. And so that's why some people call planet Earth a classroom of sorts. And so there are many different ways of looking at it. But the easiest is that we're here to grow, and there are tests. Different people will come into our lives, and right away, some of them will have like red flags right on their forehead, and it'll say, beware or come closer at your own risk. And we, on some level, on an intuitive level, we feel that. And yet some of us have gone in that direction, and we've learned some painful lessons. But we've grown as a result, and then the next time we get that flash of intuition, we might say, been there, done that, thanks, but no thanks. And so we have these opportunities to grow. And so it really is with age comes wisdom. And so the older we get, the more life we experience, and the greater the potential for making better life choices and decisions. And so because we come into contact with all sorts of people, right, who have agendas that are to prey on us, correct, for whatever reason. And so it could be we've had a past life connection with them, or they're trying to resolve some karma or whatever. So in any event, sometimes we get burned, but because of the heat, we can avoid repeating the same scenario. It's like teaching a little child, don't touch that stove or don't touch that burner because you'll get burned. Well, maybe the first time they don't listen, and so they want to test it for themselves. So they'll touch it. But the next time, they've learned, oh yeah, I know what happens when I touch that, and I'm not going to do that unless I'm a little masochistic little boy who just wants to just see if he can outsmart the burner, and he can't. But anyway, what's the saying? Slap me once, shame on you. Slap me twice, shame on me. And it's the same thing, We're given opportunities to grow. And life's like that, And we're given opportunities for us to love ourselves more as we kind of congratulate ourselves when we make appropriate decisions. And so that's a wonderful thing, because that's almost instant gratification, right? And so we don't have to, it's not like you put some money in a bank and then 25 years later with 1% interest, you can see much of a return. It's right away. It's whether we recognize it or not is another story. But you will see that in order to love yourself, you have to forgive yourself for some of the things that we've all done, and that we regret, or that we realize we needed to experience for our soul growth. So it can go either way. You can blame yourself, or you can turn it around and say, that was just part of my path. I probably didn't have to stay there as long as I did, but in any event, maybe I was a slow learner, or a slow healer. Um, but when I think about my past, I was, a little Greek girl, who was loved and adored and basically had everything she could ever want. Um, and I went from that to literally being sheltered in a ghetto. So I was sheltered in this lovely family of love, to being sheltered in a ghetto where I was so confused, because I felt like I was living in an abyss of sorts where few actually escape, from being like a target, uh, of family wrath. And so, and vengeance to the degree that I experienced, few will ever really get out of that hole because the odds are stacked against us. However, if our soul and if our soul has intended for us to to experience these challenges and to overcome them, then we will, because we are given all the tools. Some people have different challenges, but we all have different tools, toolboxes, and so we can get over whatever challenges have been thrown our way. We really can. We have the tools for that. We have the knowledge. We have the intuition as to how to best move forward. And so, we're not at the time though when we have these challenges and these lessons. We're not thinking, oh wow, I'm learning so much and from this experience, and it's so that I can come out of this a better, a stronger, a more powerful, a wiser woman. We're not thinking that necessarily. It's almost like we're saying, oh my God, how did I get myself into this mess, and how am I ever going to get out, right? That's what most of us are thinking at the time. What did I do to deserve this, right? Why is this happening? Dear God, help me, please, right? And so what a mess. How can people be so mean and crazy all the time? The world's gone mad. Everyone's insane. And what am I doing here, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that what we experience and whatever happens to us is a gift. Did you hear that? Really, it's a gift. I know you don't probably believe that right away, but by the end of this series, I know you will. And so I can give you an example. When I talk about the bankruptcy trial where somebody gave me something for anxiety, and it was drugged or some. It was because I was like totally drugged and I was feeling dizzy. And then my attorney, as he was driving me to the courthouse in Tampa, he said, I've been feeling like I have food poisoning or I have the stomach flu or something. I don't know that I'm going to be able to represent you today. It was like, oh, you expect me to represent myself? And so I thought, oh, what luck. But, and the whole goal of that trial was really to humiliate me. And so my ex brought my third son into the courtroom and he sat there. And I don't think my third son, watching his mother, be totally humiliated, and really they were just after me. It was just the grossest and the most horrific being on the witness stand that I had ever experienced. And I've been through, by that time I had been through, I don't know, nearly 15 years of various trials. And so even though when I was in law school I had won the moot court competition, and so where it's like you're litigating. Well, I was, on the witness stand. And that's what I say, because so many times we are on both sides of everything. I had studied medicine, and yet then I was the woman in the bubble. I had gone to law school, and yet, here I had 20 years of trials in the end. Since 1996, I've been in a courtroom, and here we are, 2022. And from a psychological perspective, I studied psychology. That's my degree. And yet, I was around so many people that had a lot of mental health issues. And so, and in other respects as well. And so, so I was telling you about my third son. And so he was sitting in the courtroom next to his father, and his father was really had hired attorneys who were just going after me in every which way. And so I don't think he was thinking, "Oh, my soul is expanding here. This is what I'm here to learn." I think he was so horrified that he actually got up and ran out of the courtroom, and I couldn't tell if he were crying or if he were. But anyway, he was deeply disturbed by it, and of course, you would do that too if someone was going after your mother with a vengeance and just trying to prove her. As a prevaricator and as someone who was just a horrible person. And that's just the strategy of the legal system. You have to have one winner who wins everything, and then he's like so heroic and angelic and so magnificent, and then his counterpart is someone who is just pitiful, right, and who is guilty of everything, and who deserves not to win, who deserves the greatest of losses, right? Because you want someone to have a big win. It's a supersized win, right? But then you also have someone who's going to have a supersized loss, right? And so, anyway, I don't think he was thinking about his soul growth, watching that happen to his mother. And many of the things that happen to us, I don't think we really are cognizant of the fact that it is for our soul growth. And so we can, in a flash, we can transform from slumber to consciousness. Yeah, we really can. Once we see the reality of the situation and the benefit of it on a soul level from a higher perspective. I know I'm playing with my hair. When we see it from up above, then in the blink of an eye, we can see how we see it from a different perspective. Yeah. And so even the insane stalking and poisoning and betrayal and losses and things like that, I don't think we see it as, oh, I've become wiser. I've become more strategic. I see this for what it is, because before I was walking around in oblivion and I had no idea that it was going on. So we are here to become more empowered, right? We're here to be better versions of ourselves. And so sometimes the things that are thrown our way are here to awaken us to the reality of the challenges that we face on planet Earth. And so I don't think we have any idea that we're so manipulated on planet Earth. And we're manipulated by the media, by our own addictions, by gossip, by the people in our lives, And when we see life not through rose-colored glasses, but through the magnification of an electron microscope, do you know how strong that magnification is? Oh my gosh. Well, we're truly gifted a new perspective. And when we're in control of our own life, then we choose how we're going to move and how we're going to play, and if we're going to play, and it's our time to grow up and take responsibility. And even though evolution can seem daunting at times, and however painful, it truly is a gift. And the caterpillar can't stay a caterpillar forever. And the butterfly must emerge from the chrysalis. And the snake, too, it outgrows its skin, it sheds its skin that's too restrictive and is too uncomfortable for it, right? So some have repeated these cycles ad nauseum, and yet others have kind of broken free from it, and they've not resisted the growth. And so they are glad to shed the old for the new. And so for those of us who still have some outstanding issues that we haven't yet dealt with, we know that trust and have faith, and know that on the other side, you will be so grateful that whatever was standing in your way, you plowed through it, you marched forward, and you took your power, and you stood up for yourself, and you put your foot down. And that's what we're to become. That's what we've always been. And yet there's been so much darkness that has been trying to cloud us into not remembering who we truly are. Because on a soul level, we know exactly who we are. We know how powerful we are. And the Christ reminded us in so many of his teachings that there is nothing that we can't do that he did. And so we just need to remember that and to take our power. Otherwise, we just keep going on this endless merry-go-round, or, if you will, a Ferris wheel, whether you want to go round and round or you want to go up and down. But in any event, you're not going anywhere. You're repeating negative cycles ad nauseum. And so we are our soul. And so we are here to perfect that aspect of us. We're here to embody whatever greatness we choose. And so we are, in fact, unlimited. And the only limitations we have are those that we place upon ourselves, right? And even though on a subconscious level, many of us fear success, that's actually big in psychology. When people fail, when they continually fail, it really is a fear of success because they're not sure that they can handle it. And so they are more comfortable in the comfort of staying small because they know that feeling. The greatness is untapped. And so that feeling of being unstoppable is unfamiliar and can be daunting, too daunting for some. And so when we lack the confidence to heal on a physical level, so many people have so many physical issues, so many physical infirmities, and ailments. And so when we lack the confidence to heal physically and mentally and emotionally, and certainly even spiritually, then we don't achieve success. And so we're like wallflowers at the dances. Do you remember dances where they say, oh, the girls or the guys are just standing against the wall because they don't have the courage, they don't have the self-confidence to go out there and participate. They want to stay in the background and kind of watch the world go by. And so why do we do this? It's our time. It's our time to pick up the pieces and solve the puzzle called life. It's time to take control and stop the abuse and stop the self-sacrifice, and because we choose to love ourselves. We are to recognize that we are the most important person in our life because we are here to love ourselves. That's the journey of the soul. That's the journey of this lifetime here, is self-love. To appreciate who we are. And when we forgive ourselves, then we can really love ourselves. And only when we love ourselves can we love anybody else, right? Because if we don't love ourselves and we are castigating ourselves, then we're castigating others as well. But when we can love ourselves, then we love others. And that is more about the oneness concept of all. And so there's no self-loathing and self-destruction and things like that. That comes to a total stop. So the best way to learn is to have compassion for all. And when you have compassion for all, then you are all of one consciousness. Yes, the collective consciousness, but you are all of one energy. And so you care for another as much as you care for yourself. And you're not, the karma that you are gathering is blessings, because you want to bless other people. You want other people to be blessed. You don't want them to be in pain, right? And because you don't want to be in pain either. So when they say, well, okay, so your family has stolen so much from you, what do you think is the solution? And how can they learn what they've done is so heinous? And so I think, as I was trying to think about what exactly would be the best thing. And I think, I don't know much about the penal system. I do think that it's a form of karma, really. And karma never loses an address. However, I think that sometimes people don't understand that when something goes awry, it really is karma. So I think that there needs to be more of a connection, a direct connection between someone's actions that have been contrary to what is ethical and moral and even legal and honest. And so I think that if someone has stolen something, they need to return that. And they also need to experience what such a loss would feel like for themselves. Because if they just take something and then they give it back, then they think, okay, well, I'll take something else, and maybe the next time I won't have to give it back. But if they take something and not only do they have to give it back, but they have to actually give something that they held dear, then I think that is a more personal way of experiencing what they have done to others. And so I think that sometimes people need that type of an experience. Now, so many times, I've said that my food has been poisoned, my water has been poisoned, my the landscaping, a pesticide that drenched my body, and I was ill for 5 years, and then the food poisoning and things like that from the very beginning of my marriage in 1980 and for years, and it was a slow decline, and they were diagnosing me with, or they wanted to diagnose me with MS and all kinds of other neurological diseases because that pesticide was a neurotoxin, and so and the other poisons were neurotoxins, and so I'm not suggesting that these people have to eat poison, but I am suggesting that they do need a more hands-on familiarity with it. And so maybe they need to care for people who have been poisoned. I just don't know. I'm not here I haven't really given this enough thought to think what is the proper, I think it's all about awakening. It's all about being conscious, having empathy, and being able to experience and being able to know in the deepest part of our being how the other person felt. And a lot of people who have this criminal mindset have no empathy. And so they aren't able to really put themselves in your place when they've done such horrible things to you. So I'm not sure exactly, and I would love to hear what other people think is the right way, in order, not for retribution, not at all, but in order for the dark to come into the light. How can they see the light? And that's the goal. The goal is not to punish anybody because they've punished you. The goal is to help elevate them to a higher consciousness. The goal is for them to develop that empathy so that they can love themselves, right? So, I don't know, I guess even people that lie and that have defamed us, if they experience other people defaming them, then, okay. And so when they experience them, that type of an issue, then in fact, they have a better understanding of what they've done to another. And so that, my friends, is what I have to say about that. But we can continue to number 12, to understand all the things that we all are going through. And then remember that we're seeking solutions as well. And so here we are as empowered beings who have experienced so much. And so we want to help raise the vibration of the planet. Yes. And so how can we do that? It's by spreading love. And it's also by helping people understand that they need to see things from a different perspective. And once they do that, then life changes for everyone. So I don't know how you teach somebody that that greed is not the way. The greed is not the way to higher dimensions. The greed is not the way to self-love. But we have to forgive ourselves, and that's why the title of this series is Forgiveness to Love. And so we live in a perfect universe that what's been done to others then will come back on us. So try to be as benevolent as you can, and as kind as you can, and as loving, and as accepting and understanding. You don't have to say, remember in one of my videos I said, well, it's not like the Pope in his bejeweled crown and robes and things like that, or the Queen with her scepter that says, I knight you now. So we don't have to say, yes, I forgive you. No, because I think we just have to understand what it is that they're going through that caused them to do what they have done. And yet, karma is a wonderful way of leveling the playing field. Because a lot of times, again, I'm repeating myself, but we do have to experience sometimes what we've done to others for it to really stick. And that's a good thing. That's a law of the universe. It has nothing to do with vengeance or wanting someone else to feel the same pain that you felt. It just is the way it is. Okay? So we see things now with our eyes wide open and our heart wide open. And when we do that, then everything changes. And so anyway, I will see you on number 12. And I thank you for being here. And I love you.